Hello, and welcome. Welcome to Intuitive Eating Wisdom Wednesday. Hope everybody's having a great day. I'm going to give it a moment for it to show up in your news feed, and I'm going to go ahead and tag you all so you can find me. Show up in your news feed. I always have to remember to shut down the volume on my phone when I do this. All right, everyone, come and join me. Okay. Just want to make sure that's happening. All right, so Intuitive Eating Wisdom Wednesday. How are you today? I hope you are having a fabulous day. Today, we are going to be talking about satisfaction. It is a huge part of intuitive eating, and I'm going to get to that in just a moment. But for those of you who may not know me, hello, I'm Bonnie, and I am the host of our wonderful group here, Intuitive Eating for a Diet-Free Life. I am a registered dietitian, nutritionist, certified intuitive eating counselor, and I help women stop dieting and regain trust with food so eating is easy, it's enjoyable, and it's nourishing to your body and your mind. FYI, I do have a 6-month group coaching program where I walk you through the steps in a very systematic fashion to regain this trust and to become an intuitive eater. If you want information, just message me or comment below this video. I am enrolling currently into the group. Okay, let's get to today's topic. Please make sure you share your thoughts as I go through today's training. And if you're on replay, you know what to do. Hashtag replay, and I will come back and respond. So, what is the number one reason that you may not feel satisfied after a meal? Give some thought to that, right? Do you always walk away from the table feeling satisfied? And are there different types of satisfaction that you may be feeling? So, after making the switch from long-term dieting to intuitive eating, it can be hard to understand why, and I guess I want to say when you're truly hungry or full. So in other words, identifying your hunger and your fullness cues. We've previously spoken about that, right? Because your body has been following, or you've been following, very specific, strict rules that you get from either the trainer in the gym, the food rules of the diet, or whomever. So all of these external rules are giving you the data that you need to make food decisions for yourself, but it's not based on your inner wisdom. It's all based on what others tell you, right? And you've been doing that for quite some time. In fact, there are a lot of reasons why you might finish a meal and then second guess, am I still hungry or not? And you may go for more. So if you aren't quite reaching satisfaction after a meal and you feel like you are searching for more, so like you finished your meal and later on that night you're looking in the cabinets and you're looking in the pantry, right? Hey, raise your hand if you've experienced this. You probably need a little bit of clarification around physical satisfaction and mental satisfaction. And I will say that satisfaction is at the hub of intuitive eating. All of the intuitive eating principles kind of build off of this idea of satisfaction. So feeling physically full is usually a little bit easier to detect. So physical satisfaction, we'll call it, versus mental satisfaction. So let's say you ate a little bit more than your body can handle. Feeling full can be physically uncomfortable, or perhaps feeling over full can be uncomfortable, right? As your body works to digest the food. So some symptoms might include feeling bloated or having a distended stomach. You've reached your capacity or perhaps over capacity, right? Maybe you feel like I gotta unbutton my pants, I gotta sit down a little bit. Maybe you have a stomach ache, you have some cramps, maybe it's just about, I gotta take a couple of minutes and just allow this food to go down as you feel it working its way down. Maybe you have nausea, maybe you have heartburn, maybe you're belching, maybe you have gas, maybe your bowel movements have changed. Food probably looks unappetizing to you at this point because your body doesn't want any more. So having to take a breather before your next bite, or not enjoying the food as much as you did when you started eating that meal, are signs of this idea of a physical feeling physically full, or in certain cases like I'm describing, maybe even over full. Mentally full is not as easy to pick up. So when we talk about mentally being full, we're talking about that psychological satisfaction that you get or don't get from a meal. That might be a little more difficult for you to pick up than a physical feeling of fullness or physical satisfaction, right? Especially if you've been dieting for a long time. Well, it might look like you're no longer thinking or obsessing about food. You're able to sort of go through your day without the thought of, when is my next meal going to be? Because that's kind of like a thought in the back of your head all the time, chipping away at you. Um, and food is just no longer appealing in this moment because you're content with the food that you've eaten. And I would say, um, you know, there's certainly no feelings of regret or no guilt or anything after eating food that makes you feel mentally satisfied and you have that satisfaction. So there is a big difference between feeling physically satisfied and mentally satisfied. Dieting makes feeling mentally satisfied a much harder task than it needs to be. When you follow a diet, you're sticking to those exact portions, you're limiting food groups, maybe even you're cutting out major food groups, right? So naturally you're going to be searching for, the extra piece of satisfaction that perhaps you didn't quote unquote allow yourself to have within that meal. So you've eaten, you are physically satisfied, so you're full, maybe not even over full, so your belly has had enough, but your brain has not. And so that's very likely because, hello, diet culture, just, start to demonize foods and pull certain foods, favorite foods or food groups, just out of your meal. So the feeling of searching for food after you finished a meal or even after eating slightly past comfortable fullness shows up for multiple reasons. Number one, your diet, as I said, your diet, your eating is limiting food groups. Now there are 3 macronutrients, you've probably heard of the main nutrients in our food that are essential for maintaining our healthiest bodies and providing it with all of our nutritional needs. Those macros are your carbs, your protein, and your fat. Diet culture likes to come in and sneak in and make you believe that one or more of these macronutrients is quote unquote bad for you, or it's deemed quote unquote unhealthy and you should avoid it at all costs. But all that is going to do is keep your body from getting all the energy and the fuel that it needs. And guess what's going to happen? You will be left feeling unsatisfied. So you may say, well, I didn't eat any carbs today. And now you're thinking like, put the crown on my head because, oh, I'm so good, but I'm still so hungry, right? Now, the second is you're not listening to cravings. Cravings, by the way, is not bad like diet culture wants you to believe. One of the purposes of food is obviously for fuel and energy. It helps us, to stay alive. But food also serves a very important purpose, and that is pleasure and enjoyment. Now, again, in the world of dieting, certain foods are labeled as good or bad based on the nutritional value of those foods, based on the ingredient list, based on perhaps the sugar content, the fat content, and so on. The list goes on. And eating only foods that diet culture deems good is actually keeping you restricted and preventing you from feeling full pleasure of all foods, and will, without a doubt in my mind, leave you searching for more when your physiological cravings are not being met. Now, we're not really talking about emotional cravings. There is a difference between emotional cravings and physiological cravings. That'll be for another day. So you may say, I'm really craving a cookie tonight for my dessert, but I've been really good and I don't want to ruin it, so I'm going to deny myself to have it. But then you're searching for something in the cabinet that can fill that need. And so, again, physical satisfaction might be there, but more than likely, mental satisfaction is not. And number 3, you're restricting. So when you're following your diet, or you think you're not dieting, but maybe you really are because you're being quote unquote good or you're eating clean, that's just lingo for dieting. It's very common for you to constantly compare the amount of food you're eating and perhaps even what you're eating with others, and you limit your portion sizes based on what others are eating. Well, look with how much they're eating, I should probably eat less. Maybe you're limiting based on what the nutrition label says is a serving size. And, even if you feel like you want more, perhaps you're not allowing yourself to have more, right? Even if you're still a little bit hungry because you don't want to feel like you're eating too much. Wow, I'm eating more than the label says. I mean, so many times people will say to me, well, I go by the portion I eat is based off the nutrition label, the serving size. Well, how does that label actually know how hungry you are in this moment? It just does not. So, this is a huge reason why dieting is so unsustainable long term. Your body needs food. Hello, right? Restriction certainly is keeping you from feeling satisfied after you're eating, since your body is looking for the extra fuel, and it's got to make up for the energy that it's not getting, right? So you may even hear yourself saying, I ate way too much food for lunch today, above the serving sizes I was told to eat. So I'm going to eat lightly at dinner. Diet mentality through and through. And you are going to be missing something, and you're going to walk away from that meal and you're going to be on the search. You're going to be on the prowl. Understanding when your body is satisfied versus when your mind is satisfied can ultimately help you become way more intuitive with yourself and have a better relationship with food. Food is meant to be enjoyed just as much as it's meant to satisfy your physical hunger, to keep you alive. When you practice intuitive eating, understanding the true needs and desires of your body and what your body is asking for will become more easy for you to detect. And your body knows what it wants, but it's up to you to listen to satisfy it. But ultimately, you need to trust it. And as we know, trust is a very big, a hard thing for dieters to do. That is why you rely so much on rules and what others tell you to do, because you're not trusting. You're not trusting yourself. So it's all about, at the end of the day, regaining that trust in yourself, your trust with your body, your trust in the food choices that you absolutely can make for yourself. I'd love to hear your experiences with regards to physical satisfaction and mental satisfaction. Drop a comment below this video, #replay, post your thoughts, your comments, your questions. I will come back and answer them. And as a reminder, I can help you regain that trust through a very systematic fashion through my intuitive eating group coaching program called Whole Body Trust. I'm enrolling clients now for March. If you're interested, just reach out to me in the DMs or tag me below and I will reach out to you. Have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to reading your comments. Bye for now.